Good evening, everybody. I love this group tonight. This is a spirited group tonight, and I love that. But I am going to corral you all in, so welcome to our June 2018 Board of Ed meeting. I'm thrilled to have you all here, and I'm going to ask you all to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Lavelle, could we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Castelli, Mrs. Corso, Ms. Levesque.
Here.
Mrs. McKay.
Here.
Mrs. Purcell.
Here.
Mr. Reynolds.
Here.
Mrs. Raccio.
Here.
Mr. Ross.
Here.
Mr. Votto.
Here. 7
members present and voting.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's start with our student board reps. Do we have, I'm looking out in the sea of audience of great high school and middle school students. Do we have Sheehan here?
I think they moved on.
I feel, wait a minute, they've moved on? I feel the loss. I mean, nobody even sent me an email or, wow, nobody gave me a kiss, nothing. They've moved on. I get it.
Last month after we recognized them, they did not see that they were going to be.
I get that. It's all good.
And it's graduation.
I'm assuming that's true. I mean, okay, that's all good. My heart's broken, but I'm good. And I'm assuming Lyman Hall's the same. Okay. Okay. Bye-bye, board rep. And honestly, let's be fair. These board reps have faithfully come to every board meeting every month over the last, I don't know how many years, because they've been with us. And they're great students and great representatives of their schools to give us the nits and grits of what's going on in their specific school. Go ahead, Dr. Menza. You got a microphone in your hand.
Preparing for that.
Okay. Okay. So next is presentation and awards. So
why don't you join me up front?
I'd be honored.
And I'm going to first invite up Kim Moore, our World Language Curriculum Resource Teacher for 4 more days. Because her title changes, not because she's going anywhere else. Her title changes. So I'm going to invite Kim up to share a little bit about 2 awards that she's going to talk about tonight. The Connecticut Certificate of Global Engagement, and also the Seal of Biliteracy. So I'm going to turn over to Kim.
Sure. We are thrilled to be the only district in Connecticut that piloted both the Connecticut Certificate of Global Engagement and the Seal of Biliteracy this school year. The Connecticut Certificate of Global Engagement, we had 1 senior at Sheehan and 1 senior at Lyman Hall achieve this award this year. I'm not sure if either is here, but we would still love to recognize them. These students sought out globally focused coursework. They took at least 7 credits of globally focused coursework and achieved a B or better in all 7 of those courses. They sought out extracurricular activities with a global focus, and they also did an action service learning research project. The requirement for that was 20 hours. One of these 2 students has put in 890 hours to efforts to make Wallingford's impact outside of Wallingford great and known. And we're really proud of these 2 students, Kelly Fernandez from Lyman Hall and Hayden French from Sheehan High School. Oh, Hayden's here. Thank you.
Come on, take your bag.
Back up here in a minute.
What I was going to just mention about Hayden's project, first of all, both students, again, did a remarkable job. Hayden actually, based on his love for global experiences, actually be going off to college in Florida, but actually spend his first year abroad in Spain. So it's a very unique program as a freshman, starting your college career outside of the country. But it again speaks to his passion about understanding other cultures around the world. So we're very proud of that. Our next award.
I have to interrupt. Normally I save my comments for the end, but I have to give a shout out to Mrs. Moore because you underscored it subtly. We are the first district in the state of Connecticut to offer this, and that happened because I'm going to do the Pulp Fiction square. Oh, you have to be over age 50 to know that, but no, I can't underscore the importance of the work that you and your team have done to make this a reality. And I'm so proud of the work that you've done and to represent Wallingford in this regard. So I just needed to underscore that. Thank you. No, thank you.
And actually, because of the work of Wallingford, every student in the state of Connecticut next year will have an opportunity to receive such honor if they meet the same criteria. So it was approved by the State Board of Education at their state board meeting in May. So we were very fortunate to be able to present that to them to get that approved. And so now, equitably speaking, across every district in the state of Connecticut, this will be a legacy that Wallingford and Kim Moore and others have been able to pull, and other superintendents and staff from across the state have been able to put this together for students. The other recipients tonight are for the Seal of Biliteracy, and again, I'm going to ask Kim to explain a little bit about this, and also invite another staff member up to be part of this presentation because she works so hard.
Sure. So the Seal of Biliteracy is also a new initiative in Connecticut that was legislated last June. Students are invited to test for an academic assessment. It's called the APPLE test, the Performance Proficiency Towards Language Acquisition. We tested interested and eligible seniors this May. This was a very recent endeavor. So just to kind of think about that, these seniors already know what they're doing next year with their lives, so they were intrinsically motivated to take this test. So this test recognizes students that are proficient in English and another language to the degree of receiving an intermediate mid in reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Just so you have a point of reference, up until 2 years ago, you needed to receive an intermediate high to be a certified teacher in Connecticut. They've bumped that up to advanced low, but to be a high school student and receive an intermediate mid in all 4 domains of language acquisition is incredible. Our 11 recipients this year are a mix of native and non-native speakers, and we are incredibly proud of the fact that they were motivated to take this exam and that they scored as well as they did. And to go a step further, we have a lot of students in this group that scored and advanced in at least one of the domains, which is incredibly, it's impressive. And we'd love to invite Gloria Rusati up, who is the EL teacher at Marktesian. She encouraged her 3 EL seniors at Sheehan this year to test for the Seal of Biliteracy, and all 3 scored high enough to receive the seal. So we're extremely proud of these students. Them off? Okay. From Lyman Hall, Joshua Camputaro received the seal in Latin. Great job, Josh. Also from oh, sorry. Okay. That was a bad photo, Ray.
Yeah, we'll do everybody
Okay.
together. Yeah.
Also from Lyman Hall, receiving the seal in Latin, Lisette Donewald. Congratulations, great job. Also from Lyman Hall, receiving the seal in Spanish, Caitlin Grindle. From Lyman Hall, Sithlali Palacios, receiving the seal in Spanish. Nice job. From Lyman Hall, Audrey Ruan, receiving the seal in Spanish. From Lyman Hall, Megan Shaw, receiving the seal in French. And from Lyman Hall, receiving the seal in Spanish, Nora Zaim Sassy. From Sheehan, Jesus Alvarado, receiving the seal in Spanish. From Sheehan Hayden French, receiving the seal in Spanish. From Sheehan, receiving the seal in Arabic, Ilyas Moisim. And lastly, from Sheehan, receiving the seal in Thai, Tirayut Supanafai.
Come on over. Come on over. We're not important.
Congratulations.
All right, at this time, I have a student from, I don't believe one of, are the DAG, anybody from DAG cross country here? Or track and field? Nope. But I know the student, who I'm going to recognize. I was just checking on one of the coaches, but I think unfortunately they were busy tonight. But I would like to call up Kaylin Bowman, who received 2017-18 individual state champion for the discus. So congratulations. Awesome job. That's fantastic. All right, and at this time I'm going to invite up Mr. Baker, the athletic director from Lyman Hall High School, to take us through the next set of awards to Lyman Hall track and field athletes.
Thanks, Sal. I want to thank the board for allowing us to come tonight. I appreciate that. But I want to congratulate all the seniors. Best of luck in your future endeavors. And I really want to thank some of those kids who just came up, who just got those awards from Kim, because I had them over at DAG. And it's great to see them come up here. So this is the last year I have that. This spring, just to give you a quick update, since we don't have our student leaders here, golf team made the states. Softball made it to the quarterfinals this year. Baseball won a tournament game this year. Let's see, boys tennis made the states. And our girls 1 and 2 doubles teams competed in the state open as well. So we had a very good spring after our winter season where all our teams made the tournament. So. Most of all, though, I left them out on purpose because we're honoring them here tonight, is the track and field kids. They had an unbelievable year. We broke so many school records. We had 6 kids compete up at New England's this year, and it has to do with their coach, but also has to do with all the hard work and effort that they gave this year. As you saw, what they did during the indoor season was phenomenal, and they carried right over to outdoor. Great coaching, but the coach I want to bring up is Coach Nylander. Don't mind it.
I just wanted to thank the boys and girls track team this year. Did a great job. I'd like to also recognize Coach Farley, who had a great year with his track team, and Coach Skurzo had a great job with his team at Moran this year. So congratulations to all the Lyman Hall athletes. Thank you very much. Faith Danner, Alexandre Fishbein-Wimet, Sarah Gagnon, Andrew Horrobin, Luke Horrobin, Blake Jandro, Jaylana Murphy, Robert Ottens, RJ, Sierra Rich, Tyler Siemens, Riley Shortell, and Mike Toppin.
Up next, I'd like to call Mr. Daly, the athletic director for Marquis Sheehan High School, who will invite up our students and coaches.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming, and reiterate some of the words that Steve said. Thank you to Central Office and the Board of Ed for allowing us to recognize the students this evening for the whole town to see. We had a great spring, and the highlight of the spring are the individuals sitting in front of me today, and I'll let Coach Farley brag about them in a little bit. But I just wanted to thank and congratulate our seniors. You've been terrific ambassadors for Sheehan Athletics over the last 4 years, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward, and congrats to all the underclassmen as well. It's great to see how big track and field is becoming in town. Lyman Hall, Moran, Dag, Sheehan, we had a tremendous year, and kudos to the coaches for the great jobs that you guys all do to prepare these guys for competitions and to do all the little things also. One thing I just want to mention about our track team, and Ray Ross was able to come to our spring awards night, where I said a few words about them. Coach Farley's been coaching for over 50 years, and he hasn't missed a beat. He's adapted to the times year after year. And even yesterday when I was texting with him, and I said, did you let all the kids know? And he's like, oh yeah, I tweeted it out. We're good. So he he really does a tremendous job. But the part that's most impressive is that at our awards night we recognize our SEC scholar athletes, and it's the individuals that perform exceptionally well on the fields and also in the classroom. And year after year, winter and spring, the track team is totally the highlight of that segment. The amount of kids that perform academically just above and beyond in the classroom as well as on the field is tremendous. So without further ado, I want to introduce Coach Farley up here. Congratulations to the team, and thank you.
I'd like to congratulate the Lyman Hall team. It's one of those years that just everything comes together, as we have had with the girls. Also occurred over on the other side of town, unfortunately for us. But they had a great season, and hopefully we can both continue taking care of business. I think that just a point in the season that made a big difference for us, and it sounds crazy, but it was a loss to Shelton and Hillhouse. That kind of made us understand how good we really were. Now, if you don't know, Hillhouse is a perennial state champion, and Shelton has controlled the girls' side of the Housatonic division for the last several years. So those two losses where we were very, very close to beating them kind of awoke the sleeping bear. So that was good. Okay, I'm going to introduce Terrence first. Terrence was an all-state 100-meter champion, Class M. I don't know if I don't see Stephanie. Here's our other all-state, she's a senior, she's not studying. Stephanie was all SEC, all-state in the pole vault, and has set a state record, or a school record for that event at 11 feet. I'm going to go through the names here. Some of the girls are not here, but they need to be recognized anyway. And Clarice Amenawang, Amanda Brown, Lizzie Brown, Catherine Capetta, Kira Conley, Olivia Dubach, Marley Esch, Rain Ash, Sophia Franzik, Julia Mansfield, Paige Manizares, Jenna McCarthy, Kelly Minilow, Mackenzie Morrill, Gabrielle Bushinsky, Kelly Nasante, Kristen Petrillo, Romaine Rigoland, Nikki Santillo, one of our co-captains, Christine Thorpe, and Elisa Tolentino, the other co-captain. These girls were invited here tonight because they won the Housatonic, or the SEC Eastern Sectional Championship, and they also were the runner-ups in the Class MM State Championships.
All right. I'm getting tired just thinking about all that you guys did to get what you accomplished, because there's no way I can't even walk a mile sometimes, never mind run one. So at this time, I'd like to call up Coach Scherzo and also Coach Neri, if they would join us on stage. They're here to represent James H. Moran Middle School, and I wanted to have them come up to be able to recognize their students. They had an amazing season, and the boys track and field champions, so we wanted to be certain to recognize them. So I'll turn it over. Excuse me? Good choice. All right.
And I'd like to introduce Steve Scherzo, who's the other coach of the track and field team with me.
Hi, everybody. Coach Neri will be talking tonight.
I don't...
That's all right.
Oh. Okay, we'd like to recognize individual girls champions at our state championships this year. And along with that, I know we have some of the throwers here, Amanda and Kelly, and Jenna's not here, and some of the boys from Sheehan who ran a clinic, helped us with our throwers, was really great. They were great with the kids, really helped. I really appreciate it. Okay, our winner in the shot put, Darla Jagrossi. She set a school record in the shot put, first year throwing. Congratulations. In the 200-meter dash with Avery Winters, she defended her title. So this is the second year in a row she's won the 200. Okay, and we're going to introduce our boys track team, track and field team. They were the state champions this year. That's after 2 years in a row of getting second place. This year we finally came through and we won the title. So it was really exciting for all of us to have that happen with us this year. So I'll call up the names. I'm not sure how many are here. Tristan Bonilla. Oliver Brown. I know Oliver's. Yes. Eamon Burke. Evan Keynes. Brad Cockane. Damian DeFalco. Yes, Damian. Apollo Dubak. Marcus Elder. Kevin Gilhooly. Shane Gilhooly. John Gagliatino. Ben Gillay. Aaron Kaiser. Travis Carosi. Yes, Travis. Tyler Koenig. Good job, Travis. Jalon Colley. Jamie LaValle. Kieran Liu. Ronan Liu. Aaron Mansfield. Is that it? Is he here? Great job. Oh my gosh. Aditya Nataraj. Nick Onedo. Stefan Pellerin. Alex Rodriguez.
No, Alex.
Luke Rakowski. Shane Salvador, sorry. I'm just reading it there. So. Oh, you got it, okay. You forgot the O. No, forgot the O one here. William Sipe. Yeah, James Stratton. Jack Taylor. Ryan Villano. Devin Welch. These are the 2018 state championship team here.
again, congratulations to all of our students. I do have to, and he probably would anticipate this, but I do have to mention Ryan Villano. He starred in one of our convocations back when he was going into kindergarten, I think, or first grade. He did a dance to Dynamite, and he had a lot of energy then. Obviously, it's transferred over to the track. So I just wanted to say congratulations, and I just want to, you don't need to come up, but I just want to embarrass him publicly. But no, I want to say congratulations to all the students. It's remarkable, and I think Coach Farley, did bring up, and Athletic Director Daly did bring up the point that our students are student athletes, and they're students first and then athletes, and it's nice when we're able to recognize students for doing that and being the academic achievers that they are, while also performing so well in whatever athletic events they choose to participate. And they represent our district so well. We never hear bad things about our track and field, our teams that work together, and across town. There's good, appropriate rivalry, but there's also camaraderie. So thank you for your support, and to all the families for your support of these students. It does not come easy. We know that schedules had to be changed. We know there were carpools. There were a lot of transportation opportunities, as we say. But again, you helped us make certain that they could do their best. So thank you so much, and to the coaches also for your hard work. So thank you.
So I just want to say on behalf of the Board of Education, obviously, thank you for representing us in a stellar fashion. But I also want to go beyond that and thank the moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, family members. You know, this doesn't happen in a vacuum. This is a commitment that everybody decides that, you know, we put our kids first, and you know, when you guys go out, guys, I say guys, young women and young gentlemen, you go out and you represent Wallingford. You're representing Wallingford, and you do it in a stellar fashion. So on behalf of the Board of Ed, we thank you for not only representing us in a stellar fashion, we thank the families. We know it doesn't happen easily. It's a commitment, and it shows every single day. So thank you for your commitment to your children. Thank you for your commitment to the community. And for the students, thank you for always making Wallingford look amazing. And the team effort is stellar. So thank you for everything you do. I know you want to stay for our riveting meeting, but I will give all members of the audience, this is your opportunity to sneak on out. So I'll give you the next 2 minutes to sneak on out. You know, I didn't ask board members anything off of the consent agenda, guys. White backs and forward. Okay, so with that, I know how to clear a room better than anybody. Are there any from the public that's remaining? Any questions from the public? And being none, I'm going to safely move on. So can we get a motion to go into executive session for items E1 through E6, discussion of acceptance of resignations, acceptance of retirement, candidate for high school coaching position, appointment of candidates for teaching positions, appointment of candidate for administrative position, and lastly, discussion of superintendent's contract.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. We're in executive session. Get a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first, second, third, and fourth, which is great. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. We're out of executive session. I am going to request that we move one item from instructional committee, item 12.7, to now. Discussion and possible approval action regarding location of the iced tea program at Ashler Village. Dr. Menzel.
Yes, this is really exciting news, and I know Mrs. Klimaszewski agrees with me on this. This has been a pet project of mine and the district for a few years now. The iced tea program, as you know, is an 18 to 21-year-old program where students are involved in work experience in the community. They're part of our district, but they're working on life skills, they're working on transferable skills into adulthood. Right. So we're very, very excited because the intent of those programs by the state is that they are community-based.
Right.
That they do have a home, quote unquote, within a district, but not physically. They like them to be community-based, so they have a starting point. They go out to their job sites. We're very fortunate. We're blessed. We have about a dozen job sites around town that students get involved in, and then they go back to their home base to process. And they work on some team building and processing of their day. So we've been looking for a variety of places, and this past year, I was fortunate enough to reach out to Ashler Village and Masonic, and through a variety of conversations, we're at a point where I wanted to announce tonight that our iced tea program will be moving to Ashler Village in the fall. And I just wanted to have the representative from Masonic please come forward and just share a little bit, because this is truly a partnership. This is an incredible donation on behalf of Ashler Village and Masonic to the school district, because it's a classroom. It's a space where the students can meet every day. They can get to know the residents. We're looking to do a picnic or a brunch, a welcome brunch in August. So we're just very, very excited, and I just wanted you to have a chance to share a few words, and I just wanted to express my gratitude, and I'm sure the board's.
So welcome.
Thank you. I'm Carl Anderson from Masonic here. It is a pleasure for us to host this program and to be a part of this. Dr. Menzo had approached us a while ago, and we were looking at possible locations. The interesting thing is that we needed to then meet with our residents, and Dr. Menzo came up, we met with them, and it was really a wonderful meeting. They understood what the program was about and completely, wholeheartedly supported it, and they voted to actually do this. So we're excited about it. We're a couple little hurdles to finish in terms of a contract, but we're just about there, and we're looking forward to having it as part of our social accountability program, which is where we reach out to the community and provide services that normally the organizations or community would have to pay for, and we provide that free of charge as part of this social accountability that we do as a not-for-profit organization. And we're thrilled to work with Wallingford and the Wallingford Public Schools and look forward to a great future with this program, and we're looking forward to August and starting. Thank you.
And I would just add that we've been very fortunate because the town risk manager has already reviewed the contract, totally on board with it. Had no changes. We had to change a couple of things because we're not having signage. We were trying to use some wording that we needed to adjust, but I think we're in the final stages, and we were hoping to have it be signed for this evening. We don't see it as a problem though, but unfortunately we're not there. But again, I know in meeting, Laura joined me at Masonic, as well as Kristen Wyness, who is the teacher of the program, the facilitator of the program, And it was a great meeting, and I think we all recalled the poignant moments where the residents themselves have personal experience with students who may be in this type of program in another district. So there was those poignant moments where the actual residents spoke about their grandson or granddaughter, and it was just, it took our breath away. We sat there and we were like, wow. I mean, it was just amazing, and the energy in the room and the passion for what they can offer our students was just incredible. So again, chalk this one up in the win column for Wallingford Public Schools and our students, and also the partnership with Masonic.
And I think Masonic here would also see it as a win for us, and our Executive Director, Alan Zakraszewski, who is up there, completely supports it. So thank you very much.
Board members? You know what, I just want to come up and shake your hand. I just want to say thank you.
Fantastic.
On behalf of the Board of Ed, I'm sorry. I need to do this. Thank you. Thank you so much. You have no idea. I'll speak into the mic in a second. So the iced tea program, to me, embodies community on every single level. And what the community contributes to our students I'm verklempt. I don't even know how to say it. So for you folks to step up and to add to that, I can't even begin to thank you on behalf of the Board of Ed. I am so proud of this program and what it does for our students. And, you know, we just did the brunch last week, 2 weeks ago. And to see these students interact with their community family, really, it's their family. That is a community family. And they welcome them. And what's amazing to me is all of our community partners say their brightest day, their brightest moment is when our iced tea kids go to their schools, whether it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday, whatever. And I can't even begin to thank you for your commitment and your embracing this to the next level. So I on behalf of the Board of Ed, I can't wait to hear how the program blossoms and where it goes from here. And please take it back. Alan Zakraszewski's been an amazing partner for us as a community, and I thank you, really.
I would just like to add one more thing, that there are several board members who have really been, definitely cheerleaders and supporters of this program for many years. And I appreciate it because I think that's been a motivating factor for our department to make this where it needs to be. As we all know, some of us more intimately than others, the state of Connecticut has reduced services to young adults needing those services so drastically. And if we could improve our program, that we already have a great program, but if we could improve it to the next level to provide our students with that upper hand as they go out where many of the services aren't available anymore, or they're very, very, very limited. If we could give them that upper hand and continue to improve in that area, we're doing everyone proud. And I think that was our goal, to give them that next step, because the state, again, the budget cuts, they're very impersonal, but when you do know people who have been greatly impacted by these reductions, and it impacts their families, it impacts their children, that's why it was much more of an impetus for us to do this. So I just want to say that, and tonight, if you would be willing to take action and make a motion to accept the agreement to relocate ICE-T to Ashler Village, we would appreciate that.
Yep, I'm on it. So can I get a motion? I think it's only befitting for you two to make the motion and second it, frankly.
I make a motion that for the approval of relocating the ICE-T program to Ashler Village.
I have a first and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Again, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, we'll go back to our original agenda as delivered. Can I get a motion to accept consent agenda items 7.1 through 7.26?
So moved.
I have a first and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. We had no items removed from our consent agenda, so we'll move on to correspondence.
I'm up.
Mr. Secretary, you're up.
Thank you. We have, excuse me, 3 donations to the Wallingford Adult Education Program. The first one is Liberty Bank awarded the program $2,000 to support graduates of its program who are pursuing a post-secondary education and/or career training opportunity. The funds can be used by graduates to cover tuition, books, and other related expenses to help them pursue their education. The second is from Goldman Sachs in the amount of $5,000, and the money will be used the same way. The third is from the Carpenters Union. They have donated 12 CPR mannequins, each worth approximately $500, so the total donation is $6,000. And the last thing I'd like to mention is that we also received 4 beautifully written thank you notes from high school students, thanking both the superintendent, Dr. Menzo, and the Board of Ed to allow, excuse me, to allow them to go to the ICDC DECA competition in Atlanta, Georgia. And the 4 students are Caitlin Miller, Julia Esposito, Kate Smith, and Sam Duarte. And we really thank you for your thank you notes.
Yeah, and you're right, Mr. Reynolds, they were beautifully articulated.
Yep.
Yeah, it made us proud. Thank you for that.
Yep, you're welcome.
Committee reports, ACES. Starting with ACES, go ahead, Mrs. Levesque.
Actually, I was unable to attend, but in my stead, Mrs. Raccio was able to go.
Okay, you're in.
Transfer
Go ahead,
over.
Mrs. Raccio.
Okay, the governing board met earlier this month for their monthly business meeting. The meeting began with recognition of students from Whitney High School Culinary Arts Program, Thomas Edison Magnet School, and the Mill Road students. The governing board also recognized ACES employees retiring and Rachel Sexton, who was leaving ACES. Dr. Thomas Dennehy, Executive Director, provided a real estate update. He discussed the upcoming move of several programs to the Leader Hill location upon its completion in August of 2019, and the listing of 205 and 261 Skiff Street for sale. He noted there have been a couple of showings, and ACES will be looking to relocate its administrative offices in the Hamden, North Haven, or a close-by region. Dr. Dennehy also addressed the decision of the Hamden Board of Education to take back the Wintergreen building, beginning with the 2019-2020 school year. There are currently 45 Wallingford students at Wintergreen. He stated ACES is looking for a new location for Wintergreen, and they are committed to the approximately 600 students who attend the program. He advised they are looking to keep Wintergreen in the Hamden or New Haven area, given a large amount of the population is in those districts. Dr. Dennehy also noted in his fiscal report they are completing the first year of their design plan and expect to end the year with a solid surplus. There was a review of partnerships and awards highlighting various programs and schools. Meeting dates were accepted for the 18-19 governing board meetings, and the ECA calendar was approved. The governing board approved new rates for substitutes with and without certification and the amount of $130 and $110 per day, respectively. Teacher assistants were approved at $85 per day at the May meeting. A brief discussion occurred about the rate paid to temporary employment services, and it was determined that these rates are competitive in order to attract quality individuals. There was a review of the federal meal price calculation. It was determined that the Mill School, Village School, and Wintergreen Magnet would increase lunch prices from $2.80 to $2.85 in order to ensure ACES is providing the same level of support to students who are not eligible for a free lunch or reduced prices to students who are. The governing board agreed to the 5-cent price increase for these schools. Committee participation was reviewed, and the next meeting is scheduled for September 13th.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions, comments from the board? Thank you, Mrs. Raccio. Wintergreen Magnet School Steering Committee, Mrs. Latour.
There was not a meeting last
Okay.
month. They will not have another meeting until September.
Well, you get a break. School to Career Business Think Tank, Dr. Menzo?
Yes, we met on June 8th and at Hubcap in the morning. We had a good turnout. We reviewed the STEM, Operation STEM Town. So we wanted to provide an update for the businesses, get their input, solicit their support as we move forward to the summer activities. Rob Covey also brought them up to speed that he attended a meeting in New York at the German Chamber of Commerce to talk about apprenticeships. And he brought back that information to the group because we're continuing to move forward with that. We actually are signing an agreement with the Department of Labor to work with them directly on apprenticeship opportunities or coursework that would lead to student apprenticeships. We're allowed to do that through a variety of opportunities that have arisen, so we could actually have a direct line to the Department of Labor rather than some of the interim steps that could potentially get in the way. So we've removed some of those barriers for our students, and so we're very excited. We're aligning curriculum. Most likely, our advanced manufacturing curriculum will be the easiest and the first to go forward with. So we're very, very, very pleased. This is a big step for Wallingford. So the businesses were extremely supportive and extremely helpful in that. Tim Ryan was unable to make our meeting, but he has been an ardent supporter of everything that we're doing in this area.
Perfect, thank you. I'll let you keep going with PTAC update. Oh, is that Mrs. Latour? I apologize.
That's okay. Our last meeting was in May. We will pick up again in September.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, just a plug though, there will be an email going out, a mass email regarding Parent Choice Awards. You know how every year, this will be our third year. So we really do encourage parents, please, you can nominate anyone in the school district that has made a positive impact on your child. So please, please, please take it seriously. Last year, there were incredible numbers of people that were recognized. The email will be going out this week. We keep the window very short because we want people to be very deliberate in their nominations, but we look forward to seeing them.
So literally, a parent could nominate anybody from a custodial staff to a teacher, to a para, to a cafeteria worker, nurse, a nurse, could be secretary in the office. Just want to cover all the bases that...
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, perfect, thank you. Plan of Conservation Development, Mr. Reynolds.
Nothing new.
Okay. Food Service Strategic Plan Committee, Mr. Mencher.
Food Service Strategic did not get a meeting together in June, but we look forward to starting up in the fall with adding some more members and some students.
Perfect, thank you. And I'm going to combine stage lighting and renovation as well as the forest school. I know Mr. Deptula is not with us tonight, but I don't know, Dr. Menzo, do you have any updates on that?
They're moving forward very nicely, actually. I only know this because it's displacing some programming, and I'm hearing about that. So the schedule is definitely in place. I was actually out at Highland and a couple other schools today that are getting window replacement. So their principals have been communicating with the assistance of Mr. Deptula what needs to be packed, what rooms are accessible, which ones aren't. So there's a lot of coordination going on. And the stage lighting, they've already started work at several of the schools. One of the last schools will be Lyman Hall this year because they're going to use that for the community theater. So they'll do some of the work, but it'll be most likely the last one to finish up to make accommodations. We do also have the summer camp program, the work camp at Sheehan, but they're going to be able to work around that. There's no impact there. So again, Mark and his staff continue to do a great job on this.
No surprise there. Thank you, Dr. Menzo, for that update. Item 11 is old business. I do not believe we have any. I'm going to move on to item 12, instructional committee. Sorry. Mrs. Purcell, you're up.
Okay. 12.1, Mastery-Based Learning Update.
So I gave you an update at the last instructional meeting that was fairly involved. So I'm just going to give a quick summary for the purposes of our audience at home. As it relates to three broad buckets. So first is habits of work, how. We will continue with the monthly summative score that's done K-12. Currently, K-5 reports it out on the report card 3 times a year. We're moving towards next year with 6-12 reporting it out on the report card. Teachers have the option to attach the house standards to assignments as deemed appropriate. And the habits of work will also continue to be used as part of the criteria for redos and retakes. As it relates to standards and indicators, as you are aware, all of our curricular departments continue to refine and revise the standards and indicators by course and by graduation standard. This year in all classrooms, staff will post visually the learning objectives or learning targets for the lessons and refer to them on whatever student assignments are handed out as part of instructional practice. During grade level time, professional learning time, department meetings, the student work will be reviewed for calibration towards the indicators and scoring against the scoring criteria. And then for our staff, each department is in a different place on their journey with aligning indicators to instruction. And currently, each curriculum coordinator is making plans with their department to move a step forward. So in some cases, this might be aligning more classroom assignments and formative assessments to standards and indicators within PowerSchool. And for other departments, it is looking at new curriculum, like for example, our science department, and getting used to how the indicators play a role in the new units of study and with the rollout of NGSS. So as we work towards next year, this plan reflects where every department is, and it's an effort to move them forward in this journey together, and takes into consideration where they are and where they're going. Communication will go out to families at the end of this week about what to look for next year, in addition to our staff as well, so that they can prepare, as many teachers take some time over the summer to step away from their curriculum. A lot of teachers also dive back into it rather quickly once the summer months hit, where they have time to plan at their leisure.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, 12.2, approval of acceptance of resignations. I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Education accept with regret the resignation of Sarah Hunter effective June 30th, 2018. Sarah Hunter has been an elementary teacher since August 2008. Sarah Hunter has been on leave of absence for the 2017-2018 year. Any discussion?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Second.
Can I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Education accept with regret the resignation of Melanie Eula, effective June 30th, 2018. We have a second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. I make a motion that the Board of Education accept with regret the resignation of Richard Esquivel, effective June 30th, 2018. Have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, 12.3, approval of acceptance of retirement. I make a motion that the Board of Education accept with regret the retirement of Elaine Piazza, effective June 30th, 2018. Elaine Piazza has been a physical education teacher since October 1995 for a total of almost 23 years of service in the Wallingford Public Schools. She has also been an athletic director for many of those years. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Mrs. Purcell, I think you.
Oh, I forgot to ask for discussion. I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
No problem. I just wanted to mention that Ms. Piazza has been, as evidenced by her years of service to Wallingford, an amazing employee and so considerate of her students. As traditions change, or as I shouldn't say traditions, as instruction changed, she did also. And recently, over the last 2 years, she was recognized by her professional organization for her contributions over the years in physical education and health. So I just want to wish her the best, and I certainly hope that she's able to spend a lot of time with her grandchildren. I know they're very athletic. They have a couple of good baseball players. She and I talk baseball when I see her. So I'm hopeful that that'll be a great opportunity for her to have that with her husband and family.
Thank you. All right, we're good to keep going?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You got to correct me. All right, on 12.4, This is approval, acceptance of candidate to high school coaching position. I make a motion that the Board of Education accept the appointment of Marion Kish for the Lyman Hall High School girls volleyball. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, approval of appointment of candidate for a teaching position. I make a motion that the Board of Education approve the appointment of the following candidate, Christina Garbeloso, to teaching position for the 2018-2019 school year, contingent upon proper Connecticut certification as recommended by the Superintendent of Schools. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, 12.6. I make a motion that the Board of Education approve the appointment of Christina Valero to the position of administrator as of mutually agreed upon date as recommended by the Superintendent of Schools. This is for Pond Hill School principal.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion's carries. Okay, 12.8. I make a motion that the Board of Education approve the adjustments to the Superintendent of Schools' salary to align the annuity with the contract language. Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Perfect, thank you. Mrs. Levac, operations, you're up.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The Operations Committee meeting took place on June 11, 2018. The meeting minutes for the May 14, 2018 meeting and the Board of Education financial reports and cafeteria financial reports for May 2018 were reviewed in committee and accepted with corrections under the consent agenda this evening. Consensus was taken to send the following two items: the use of unencumbered funds and allocation of 1% funds in the amount of $660,143, and the 2018-2019 budget in the amount of $101,700,990 to the next meeting of the Board of Education on June 18, 2018, this evening, for discussion and possible approval. The strategic plans for 2017 through 2022 and the focus areas of communication, community partnerships, professional responsibilities and teacher leadership, curriculum and instruction, district climate, facilities and technology were reviewed. Consensus was taken to grant the Superintendent of Schools authority effective June 19, 2018 to make all transfers that will be required to complete the final financial report on the board's budget for the 2017-2018 school year. This item was approved under the consent agenda this evening. Additionally, discussion took place regarding the Encore course offerings at Moran Middle School and Dog Hammarskjöld Middle School.
Perfect.
All right, item 13.2, discussion and possible action regarding school lunch prices for 2018-2019 as related to the pay lunch equity calculation, and board members received a handout regarding this at your seats this evening, and I don't know if Mr. Mencher or...
Well, I'll start, and then I'll turn it over to the people who crunched the numbers, and I want to thank Dominic for really leading this with Dave. Dominic has done a remarkable job making sure, truing up everything, making sure that it's consistent, and I'm just going to start off, I'm going to tee it up, and then they could go from there. The veteran board members know that the federal government has this calculator that we have to submit numbers into every year to determine how far we are off in terms of our discrepancy between what we offer for a regular price of a meal versus what we get reimbursement from the federal government for a free or reduced lunch. So each year we have to submit the numbers, the calculator spits out what the recommendations are. Last year we were on par. This year, what you're seeing this evening, and I'll have Dominic and Dave go through the document that you have in front of you, there is a request, or I shouldn't say a request, the calculator would suggest that we need to raise prices at each of our levels for the fall. And we wanted to make sure we did this tonight so that we could message it first thing get this out. It'll be in all the back to school packets. It'll be in all the stuff that Ms. Latour and Ms. Veyu are working on through Power School to e-blast people and make it one-stop shopping. It'll be in all of those areas. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Barone, business manager initially, and then Mr. Mencher, if you want to chime in.
Thank you. Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay. So we put together a spreadsheet just to really model some scenarios based on the increase, the projected increase that Dave's going to walk you through. But the first area was to just show that we had projected a 2% increase in meals for next year. And then the sections below that show that what it would look like with the price increase, and then if there's some potential loss in sales of meals because of the the price increase. And this is really impacted only by the fully paid meals. So the free and reduced meals, the free meals obviously there's no effect because there's no cost, and then the reduced is it's going to be the same amount. So the impact would only be on the fully paid. So I want to let Dave walk you through the document.
Okay. So the paid meals price increase scenario that you have in front of you, the sheet, we want to propose to the board tonight a slight increase, and it would be an increase in the high school from $3.05 to $3.10. The middle school would be the current pricing now is $2.90, and we like to propose to the board a $3 selling price, and then the elementary is at currently $2.65, and we'd like to propose a $2.75 increase. The first scenario there is exactly what Dominic said, is our 2% that we propose for our budget with no meal increase. It just gives you our paid meals and revenue that we generate. The second scenario is our 2% increase, once again, that we proposed for our budget with the price increase that the calculator is telling us. So the calculator on the price equity that the state provides for us is a tool that we load in a bunch of statistics, and it will give you an average price for your district. And the calculator is coming out that we're 8 cents under, and that we should raise our average price to $2.90. So at that time, we just add in a few more numbers, and it tells you your recommended price, which is what I just went over, the $3.10, the $3, and the $2.75. The rest of the sheet on the second scenario just gives you a projected price increase with no loss in meals, which is the 5,800 number. And then what we did just to show you guys, if there's a loss in the program next year, there's a 5% loss, and then we carried it all the way down to the bottom of the spreadsheet to a 1% loss. We are not proposing or hoping for a loss in the program. I feel confident that we could grow this program, but with roughly about a 3% increase in the sales price, it's going to cover our product that is increasing and our labor. And this is a market reference that the industry follows, that with our product costs and our labor costs, that this would be a substantial proposed increase. Is there any questions that I can answer?
Okay, so I just want to be clear. We're required by the federal government to increase our costs, our pricing, excuse me, not our costs, our pricing. And I just kind of do this for TV land, that I want to make sure people understand that it's not arbitrary, that we're looking to just increase to increase. They require us to stay in line what they determine is appropriately pricing. Am I saying that fairly accurately, Dave?
Correct. Can I have this one?
Or Dominic.
They provide a spreadsheet tool, and you put in your meal counts and your prices.
Right.
And it comes up with the weighted average.
Right.
And they benchmark it, and that tells you where where your pricing should be. And it came out, the weighted average was down. It was at 8 cents, and then they rounded up. So that was the method of coming up with these numbers. Now they don't they don't dictate, oh, you should raise elementary 15 cents and high school 5 cents, but they want the weighted average to be at a certain amount.
Gotcha. And, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to, over here, I was just going to say that the extreme due diligence that Mr. Barone did as business manager was to check on a waiver. Was there ability to waive this responsibility of the district, which there is, but the challenge is it's very tenuous. There's significant challenges to it. We didn't see it as an option because it only impacts and compounds the price that has to be increased at a later date.
Right.
So you're going right now where maybe 10 cents is on average the highest that we're raising a price, but in the future, if you waited and you push that out 3 years or 2 years, now you're up to 15 cents, 20 cents.
That's why I brought up the subject. I want to make sure people that if they're watching us, it's not that we're just looking to increase, we're following federal mandate.
Correct.
And eventually, you got to pay the piper, whatever that means, and so if we do it systematically, incrementally, it's less burden. I would assume I'm hoping it's less burdensome on families rather than waiting 3 years or when we are mandated to make that increase, and now we're increasing it by 15 or 20 cents. And I just want to make sure people understand, if they're watching us, that that's the rationale and the parameters that we're dealing with. It's not random that we're just raising. Thank you.
Mr. Votto?
Why am I thinking that that was changed, that the federal government was not expecting us to do that, what we've always been doing?
What I believe that changed, and Mr. Mencher and Mr. Barone, you can clarify, I think the federal government was saying that we had to entirely close the gap by 2018. If I recall, when I first arrived, that was what our previous food services director had spoken about. They extended it. So we're not closing the gap 100%. We're just getting closer to the differential.
So they just changed the date?
I believe, if I'm correct, and I can get you more information on that.
I know there's something.
But I remember, for whatever reason, the 2018 sticks out in my mind when I arrived, because it was 2009, that we had so many years that the federal government was giving us to close the gap. Then there were the change in the regulations regarding grains and whole wheat, and they started offering waivers for different things, which we started taking advantage of, but it was pushed out. But we can clarify that to make sure that I'm accurate, because I do not want to profess to be the expert on food services. But does that at all sound like something that you two were aware of?
That sounds right, correct. They basically spread out the time, I think, to get caught up.
But have they increased their costs? Have they increased the amount they give us for free and reduced lunch? Like free lunches. They gave us X amount of dollars one year. Did they give us more this year?
Every year.
So every year we playing catch up?
Correct.
If we have to meet those, so we're never going to get to the point where we meet their numbers.
And that's why they come up with this calculator. Because districts that have traditionally been farther behind in terms of pricing, which is a good thing for our customer, our full price customers, they're trying to catch people up. As you said, you could not put it a better way. They're trying to catch them up. The thing is that the distance between catching up keeps growing. So that's why the calculator is so vital, to make sure you put the information, because if they give us increases every year, obviously that gives us a higher threshold, like you're saying, to reach.
I'm just curious what board members think about a 10-cent increase in each level.
Oh, to increase it more?
Because that's what we're doing, right?
Well, no.
No, 5 cents.
5 cents, that's what I'm saying. Are
It's
you
5
looking
at one level and then 10 at 2.
Are you looking to increase it
No.
more than 5 cents?
No.
Okay.
I mean, middle school is going from $2.90 to $3, correct?
Right. Correct.
Yep. That's 10 cents.
Right.
And the
But
elementary.
high school's only going up 5.
Right. Why isn't it the other way around?
The last time, I think, if I'm correct, and I can get you the information on this for your Friday packet, but the last time, if I'm correct, we raised the high school prices the most. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were much lower, and we gave them the highest increase at that point. But I can.
And not only that,
we also made the meals smaller.
We made the meals
remember?
smaller.
That was the double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So that was the challenge there.
Yeah.
But we also, this year, have given them a greater variety. We've added some new things. the grab and go, whatever the heck it was called. And that has made a difference, hasn't it? I mean, more children are taking advantage of that in high school, aren't they? Sort of.
In a way, yes, but once again, Mike, the product costs are going to go up 2% over the board with our groceries and our increase in labor that we just negotiated with the union. Elementary was a little under at 265, and that's why we were proposing the dime increase on the elementary.
You know, I know every year we see an increase in free and reduced lunches, and I'm wondering how much of an increase we see with people just making it, so that, in other words, they're not, the income isn't low enough to get even a reduced, but they're pretty much at that threshold. They're almost there, but they're not enough to qualify. Has that number increased? I'm just concerned about the 10-cent raise on the elementary level. I really am. Because I'm wondering if it's affordable. Because there are people who are probably paying the full price because they're not eligible for reduced, at least reduced lunch, but they're probably very close to that, and they're just getting there. And now we're going to raise the lunch 10 cents, and I don't know, it's just, I just thought I'd throw it out there. I don't know if anybody else has that concern. I mean, I'm sure we're all concerned one way or another.
Mr. Ross?
Historically, when we increase the price 10 cents, what happens to the counts?
I'll try to speak to that because the records on this, we're recreating from two different administrations in food services. We did not raise the prices during the interim, but prior to that we did. Historically, they were reduced, and we would do the exact same calculations for the board as we presented tonight, starting with 5% and going down to between 2 and 1%. But on average, we saw, I would say that our numbers were about 5%. They were on the high end. But again, and the challenge with this last one that we did, as Ms. McKay just said, we also decreased the quantity of food we were giving the students. So the meatball grinder at the high school went from this big to this big, and we charged them 10 cents more because of the federal guidelines. So it's really difficult. You'd have to go back to the last time prior to that, which was prior to my time here, to really look at what the price increase, what the impact was. We had to double, it was both happening at the same time, even the middle school, but the high school was the biggest hit because the kids were like, I'm paying more, it's my money, they work, they're trying to buy lunch, and they're like, we went from getting 5 meatballs to 3 meatballs. And buying 2, the second one is a la carte, which those prices are higher. So now they were taking a double hit. So at that time we did see, if I recollect correctly, from what we had looked at, approximately a 5% decrease. We're not decreasing the quantity of food this time, so that should bode well for us. Plus, we have seen that the sales continue to rise. From what I understand, June it has been good so far. May, as we know, was not a bad month. So again, I think we wanted to play it safe and show you the 5% loss as a worst case scenario. But we'll monitor that. That'll become part of one of the reports that Dave and Dominic will work on each month. And we did that, we'll do that going forward so we can kind of share with you where are we. And if we want, we could always send out another survey to families in mid to late fall, asking about quality food, also asking did the impact of the price increase negatively impact your ability to have your children purchase lunch.
Do we have any way of monitoring what gets eaten and what gets thrown out?
Well, the most recent way of monitoring that is through the food share table and through the food recovery program that has been facilitated by volunteers throughout our district. And they are collecting a lot of food that goes uneaten. I don't think it's as much as, it is a lot, so I don't want to downplay how much it is. I think we see greater use of that food also within our school. So our nurses and our school staff are allowed to take that too. And so we're seeing more of the packaged. It's not unpackaged, it's all sealed. We got approval. That it's been reused and not for sale. We can't sell it twice, obviously. So I think when it comes to waste, there is waste, but I think there's much, much less waste in the sense that the food that is not eaten, that's sealed in packages, is being distributed to our students later in the day, before school, after school, or it's going to Master's Manna to be used in that capacity.
Do we monitor once it's been opened, what gets eaten, what gets thrown out?
We do not monitor that. That is a relatively complicated task because that would get into designating certain barrels for certain items. So your animal products, your products grown from the earth, so to speak, your composting type of scenario versus your paper goods and your other supplies. We don't have the capacity for that with our staff. But again, I know I was recently in a middle school cafeteria and I was pleasantly surprised. It definitely has shifted the mindset of a lot of our students. I think elementary schools, similarly speaking, I think the meals are just still big for a lot of the elementary students. There's a lot on that plate, but we do let them take it back to their classroom if it's sealed. That's a big change in practice. Nothing was allowed out of the cafeteria before. So that muffin or that bagel, if that child is a chatty person, you know, kind of like when I was growing up, me, I didn't get to my whole meal. I would have had to throw that out.
I like to eat.
And I like to eat too. So yeah, I don't think I left much on my plate. But the thing is now the students could actually take those items back to the classroom and the teachers let them have it for snack or they could take it home. So we really tried to really avoid a lot of waste in different ways over the last 2 years.
Because I was, as you know, in the school the other day, and I was surprised at the amount of food that went into the trash barrel.
Yeah, and if you could imagine, and I know that this isn't necessarily heartening to you, but I think it's a lot less than what it was in the past.
Thank you.
Mrs. Raccio?
I was just wondering about, and I probably should know this from the Strategic Planning Committee, but the online application, as we raise the prices, and I know some families feel that there's a stigma associated with getting the free and reduced lunch, and if that might be reduced or eliminated, if they were able to go online and key in their data to see if they were eligible for free and reduced lunch, as opposed to filling out a paper application and having a student transport it, even in a sealed envelope, it goes to the teacher, it goes to the office. And that way it would be, the online application for free or reduced lunch would be eligible or available to anybody in the district if they were new to the district, not just the existing enrollment come the end of August. And then if we do a survey, we could actually put the link at some point in a survey to say, did you know we had a free and reduced online application, and embed the link into it.
Okay, Mrs. Purcell?
I just had a question. You talk about meal increase. Do you have increases for the a la carte items too?
We have to evaluate that this summer with the a la carte, but wouldn't be able to give you that decision. That we haven't done that in this district for the last several years. But I'll be taking a look at that this summer, and I could get back to you.
All right, thank you.
That's excluded from the from the calculator, though.
And I would recommend, I don't think I'm saying this alone, I could rest pretty certain that at least Mr. Barone and I haven't had a chance to talk to Mr. Mencher about this. I don't think we'd be looking to raise both in the same year. I think that would be very, very challenging for families. I think we have to be very strategic about that because a lot of our students just purely do purchase a la carte. And so we have to do a really, really tedious analysis of sales versus profit and potential loss there, because that could really cause some significant challenges.
Thank you.
Mrs. McKay, did you have a...
Actually, Dr. Menzo, and I was going to say the same thing, actually. I'm worried about doing both potentially. Yep, you said it perfectly.
All right, is there any more discussion? All right, then I make a motion that the following school lunch prices be established for the 2018-2019 school year as related to the paid lunch equity calculation. Elementary, $2.75, middle school, $3, high school, $3.10.
I second it.
Further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Duly noted. Motion carries. Item 13.3. I I make a motion to approve the 2018-2019 budget in the amount of $101,700,990.
I second it.
Discussion on the motion. Mrs. McKay?
Yeah, I would just respectfully request that we do a roll call vote for this based on the importance of this issue. I would ask that.
Absolutely. Any other discussion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Levesque?
Yes.
Mrs. Purcell?
Yes.
Mrs. Raccio?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Votto?
Yes.
Mrs. McKay?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 13.4, discussion and possible approval of the completion of the school construction roof replacement projects. Projects number 1480157, which is Dag Hammarskjöld, 1480158, Marty Sheehan, 1480159, E.C. Stevens, 1480160, Lyman Hall, 1480161, J.H. Moran, 1480164, Cook Hill, 1480165, Pond Hill, 1480166, Moses Y. Beach, 1480167, Highland, 1480168, Rock Hill, and 1480169, Parker Farms.
I second it.
Maybe we should have a little, this is something that was done quite some time ago.
Well, 2 summers ago.
Yeah, this dates back about, I want to say...
2 summers?
Yeah, well, it's actually, no, the roofing project's going back around 5 years.
Oh, was it 5? Oh,
4 to 5 years. So, Mr. Barone, do you want to add anything?
I would just add that the state has reached out to us and asked us to close these projects because they want to just, I guess, clean it up. And we, you know, these are the 11 projects that were done, I believe, kind of in mass, and they requested we close them out. I apologize, I don't have a lot of background on them because I wasn't here.
I'll fill in.
No, go ahead. No, I'm just curious, why aren't they closed out already? Because the projects were completed, but...
Usually, the challenge is that sometimes there's initial items. We did accept them to be completed, which was the first phase in the project. So we had to submit that they were accepted as completed. So now the state reaches out because they want to do the auditing part. They want to come in and they want to look through change orders. They want to go through all those processes. If you could believe it, we're still closing out the Lyman Hall Ag Science Building.
Oh, boy.
And we have another opportunity this summer to debate ineligible expenditures for that. So this is a long process, and there's also, and this is not a negative comment about the Bureau of Building at the state, but they've gone through a lot of retirements. So there's been a lot of people who've started projects with us that are no longer in the department. So they're working as fast as they possibly can, I have to say. So that's really where we are, is to kind of, they let you know, okay, let's move forward. Now they'll come in, they'll set up a time, they'll review all the documents, usually at town hall, and go from there. Anything to add to that, Mr. Brown?
Yeah, we have to file what's called an EDO 49F, the final one, and that requires the board to accept the project and agree to close them. And you know, I can't file that form till we vote on this and approve it. And we want to move that process along if everyone's comfortable. If not, we don't have to close them all till we can accept some of them and discuss some later time also.
According to Mr. Diptula, if he were able to be here this evening, he was recommending closing out all the projects as of last Wednesday at central office. Yeah. He felt he was in a good place. He felt the projects were in a good place. So we were confident with that recommendation that he was making.
Mr. Votto?
I just want to clarify, because we went through this for the renovation and all that. So the state has already come in, looked over the projects, and they asked questions, or they haven't done that yet?
That hasn't happened as of...
So after we close these projects, then they're going to come down here?
Yeah, Mr. Brown.
Do the financial law,
Just financial.
They've come in and looked at code type questions, that would have all been addressed, but they'll come in and look at the cost, they'll look at the, was it bid?
Right.
Did you, the change orders, those types of things.
And if it was eligible or not? For
Correct.
The,
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, so that's going to happen after if we approve this tonight?
Correct.
And we don't know how long that process will take?
No, we'll get preliminary findings once they set up a date to do a review. We have a second review of ag science materials going the first week of August of this year. So then they'll set up these either prior to or after, at which time then we'll get initial findings. They send us a lot of paperwork, which will say we didn't find this file or we need clarification. Actually, Mr. Bose and myself had to go to the state last year about the ag science. Sometimes they'll invite you to the state and you talk through the different areas. So it's a long process, but again, it's kind of
worth it.
Yeah, and you have to get there because that's when you get your final payment also. Correct?
Correct. And all the paperwork for this is primarily all at the town hall, because they paid for the projects, they have all the invoicing and all that, but it's kind of a weird relationship that we have in this role. Everything's coming through us, but all the accounting and everything is happening at the town.
Okay, thank you.
Now, does the state come in and physically inspect the projects or just?
They inspected the project. The physical work is all not what they come in for. They come in for the paperwork.
That's all.
So they're going to sit at the town hall in a room by themselves with files, boxes by each school of everything from the initial application to the state, the town council approval, the mayor's approval, your approval, and then leading all the way up to the last thing that was done at the school. And they go through and they have a chart and they monitor if there's a change order. Any expenditure has to do check and balances. They'll have those questions which they'll share with Mr. Bose, which then will provide whatever resources we can. I have to say Linda, my administrative assistant, has our files, which every school district keeps their files just in case something is not where it needs to be. That's a standard practice. But that's where it will start, is really a paper review, not a physical building review.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, just bear with me because I want to make sure that I make this motion the way it needs to be made with the proper numbers and names. No, that was just announcing what we were discussing. So I will have to go through the entire list again, just bear with me. I make a motion to approve the completion of the school construction roof replacement projects, project numbers 148-0157 Dag Hammarskjöld, 148-0158 Mark T. Sheehan, 148-0159 E.C. Stevens, 148-0160 Lyman Hall, 148-0161 J.H. Moran, 148-0164 Rock Hill, and 148, skipped one.
No worries.
Cook Hill, 148-0165 Pond Hill, 148-0166 Moses Y Beach, 148-0167 Highland, 148-0168 Rock Hill, and 148-0169 Parker Farms.
Second it.
Thank you, Mr. Votto, for helping me out on that. I appreciate it. And Mrs. McKay.
That's all good.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right. We're having a discussion and possible approval for the use of the unencumbered funds and allocation of the 1% funds in the amount of $660,143.
This was a formality. Linda Lavelle, my administrative assistant, went back. We wanted to make sure that we were approving it in the same fashion that we approve it, which it usually comes off a consent and put it here, so it's called out. It's no different than what we discussed at our board meeting, similar to the budget number. It's just I didn't want to do it differently.
Any further discussion? All right. I make a motion to approve the use of unencumbered funds and allocation of the 1% funds in the amount of $660,143.
I second it.
Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Just one last comment on that because I want to honor the hard work that Mr. Barone is doing with his staff to finalize all of this. Remember, this is an estimated number at this time. It could go up a little bit. It could go down also because we have to close out different accounts as purchase orders come in. Sometimes there's, we think we have a good estimate, and then, those technology people. Sometimes, just saying, I'm just kidding. And then you have a curriculum person who's looking at couch cushions. So we're
wow, he's throwing everybody under the bus tonight.
No, I'm not. All I'm saying is that it's just a good team, and they truly care about what they're doing. So I just don't. This is Mr. Barone's first time doing this, and he was very nervous, and I know he was apprehensive. I know Ms. Lavalette and I talked to him that it's not. If this number changes, we'll report this to you in July.
Yeah.
So we had to put it in here, but I don't want him to feel that he's doing his job, and that's
Brown knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
So, but he was worried. So.
Everybody good? Okay. Thank you for that clarification, Dr. Menzo. Okay, item 14, new business. I do not believe we have any. Item 15, okay, Dr. Menzo, you're up.
I will keep this short, but it's our last meeting of the school year. As we know, this is our last week of school. The last day is Friday for all students and staff. It's a minimum school day, so just be mindful of that. Graduation is in the evening. As has been the tradition the last several years, bells will be ringing around town in honor of our graduates. We're very thankful to the faith institutions that receive our call to do that. We send out a letter to them, and it's a very nice feel when you know that that's happening for our students and their accomplishments. A couple of quick things. I want to put out a plea to families to sign up for our STEM challenge. All students in grades K through 12, their families will receive an email this week from their buildings initially with access to a website to go on and sign up for a scavenger hunt that'll take place at different sites around the community. And it'll culminate with an evening activity on August 20th at the town library between 5 and 7. We're looking to have a dinner type of opportunity for families to kind of get to know each other, but we're going to do our final town-wide challenge that night. A banner advertising this will go up in front of Moses Y Beach in early on August 6th, I believe, and it will run through and past the event. Any family that signs up for the challenge will have access to their own personal account where they'll upload pictures and videos of their family or neighbors. They could do it as a whole neighborhood, whatever they want to do. But they'll also come by central office the second week of July to pick up a sign for their front lawn that says Wallingford STEM Challenge participant. And so we really want those to kind of pop up all over town to publicize the fact that STEM is on our minds. The fifth graders, as I mentioned at prior instructional committee meetings and other meetings, will be signing up, and we have close to 70 fifth graders now signed up for one of 5 courses online that they can take that are directly connected to STEM. There's music, sound mixing, there's one on coding, there's one on 3D printing, there's one on being an entrepreneur, there's one on Google Ninja, and there's one on animation or graphics. I will be facilitating the one on entrepreneurialism, so I will be the teacher of the group of students, so I'm looking forward to that. And then we have other staff members, our IT teachers at the elementary level, Michelle Sislo. I think there's a variety of them that are involved with this opportunity. We also filmed, we're in the final stages of completing our film of our summer reading challenge. This year, I don't want to spoil the surprise, so I won't say much, but we flipped it a little bit. So we're very excited about that. That'll be launched at the movie theaters, hopefully soon after the July 4th holiday weekend, if not sooner. I can't thank Karen and her staff enough. They just do what they need to do. And we also are putting out a STEM Challenge promo, so you'll see a lot of us a couple of times in the movie theaters that we won't let our students forget us over the summer. And just last but not least, I would just like to say, thank you to the board, to all of our administrators, all of our staff throughout the district for coming to a close on an interesting school year. As I put out in my Monday message, we had snowstorms, faux storms, we had tornadoes, we had everything that you could think of going on this year, and we were able to, no pun intended, weather it efficiently and effectively. So I just want to wish all families and all of our staff a safe, happy, and healthy summer. and we look forward. We do continue to meet in July, but we know other people are away, so thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manzo. Actually, I want to echo your sentiment on behalf of the Board of Ed. I want to thank our faculty and staff. We are only as good as a board as the efforts and the commitment and the dedication that these folks show our students and our families every single day, and we're so grateful for that. I hope everybody has a wonderful summer and everybody's safe and healthy and gets some downtime. I wish our families, as well as our staff members, a wonderful summer, that you get the chance to relax, enjoy each other, enjoy your families and friends, and recharge your batteries and come back to us at the end of August ready to go. For sake of discussion, we have our next meeting. We do go to an abbreviated schedule for the summer. We have only our televised meeting here, Monday, July 23rd at the Robert F. Parisi Town Council Chambers at 6:30. And with that, we're adjourned, and I wish all the graduates that are graduating this Friday best wishes and their families, and good luck going forward. This meeting's adjourned.